Jay said, and thank you, Jay. Jay, how does Schaub feel about Eric?
Good question, because that's another nuanced one, that falls under the umbrella of Schaub hates everyone who he feels is socially beneath him. However, he did negotiate on Eric's behalf not against, but like when he was being brought into the King of the Sting situation, apparently, according to Schaub, which take it with a grain of salt, but I think Thea was kind of like,
I was taking my family out for dinner.
Making it more difficult for him to kind of be an equal partner in this like dynamic or something like that, where it's like, because they were inviting him on as a guest, kind of like, oh, we'll throw you this much change per week, and he was kind of like, hey man, like if I'm going to keep myself available every week, which is totally fair, it's like, am I going to be on call or am I going to be part of this thing? He was asking very fair questions. Schaub advocated for him to be a more fairly paid kind of, we're splitting in this kind of thing. And I think it was Theo who was kind of going, I don't want that. But also but part of this pie was the fact that like King of the Sting is what it is because of Theo Von.
Sure.
Theo Von is the draw here. Theo Von does a solo podcast and gets 1 million hits. Yeah. So like obviously, you in a business sense, you could realistically go, what's your value to this? Like what do you add? In a friend sense or a very fair sense, you go, if we're doing a podcast together and I decide that I need you, let's all get paid the same. But baked into this cake is a condescension towards Eric, not like his attitude of like, he likes to dismiss people. I can't really sell tickets and can't do this. But Eric's a better stand-up comedian than you, Brennan, and he's been on TV and he's like, I don't know. Eric again was always very nice to me and a thoughtful person too. He would always he was the first person at Thick Boy when I was like really like I got depressed where I would like come to work every day and I'm like I'm waking up early and like dealing with Brendan's bullshit until like 10 p.m. every night and 7 a.m. like I just started to become dead at some point. Like inside, I'm just like I hate every moment here and I'm just like and he was the only person to be like, hey man, you all right? Oh. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, he said, it's okay to not be okay or something like that. Yeah.
Really? I wouldn't have picked him to be a guy that talks like that. I mean,
this is my lawyer, Rob Pebble.
That sounds like a good idea for like a sitcom.
Dude, so Schaub and Snoz, bro. I cannot give any updates on Snoz right now, but holy fuck.
Oh, no.
Holy fuck.
Don't get in trouble.
I have been instructed to not say what I know about this for the time being, but Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. That's all I have to say.
Do you have a favorite joke from the Gringo Papi?
Let me think about that for a second. I'll actually try to answer it.
Okay, I thought you were making
and I don't know what's in the special versus I've heard it so many times the full hour that he cut down to 26 minutes, but I thought the worst joke was he would end with the getting a rifle to kill the cougar at the end.
Okay,
I was like, as a cat lover, I'm like, why would you just want to murder a mountain lion?
His closer.
Yeah, I was disgusted by it.
Yeah.
Chappelle have a falling out. There is certainly a reason that they do not associate with one another. I'm not going to go into the specifics of it, but just know that Chappelle's one of my closest friends. He is a person with the utmost integrity as a human being, and those kinds of people tend to not last very long with Brendan Schaub.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not going to go into details. I'm just saying that you apply this to anybody who looks like a good person, they're not going to last very long with Brendan Schaub. Chappelle's also...
like Snoz. Okay,
Snoz and Chappelle are like the polar opposite of humanity.
I just want to say,
one's a drug addicted whore, and the other one's an incredible artist who's an introvert and doesn't give a fuck about attention so much as he's just good at comedy and gymnastics, other things. Like Chappelle's a very talented human being, and also is a committed artist and just a likable, down to earth person.
Shout out to Trugflick for asking all these questions. That has been a question throughout the chat is thoughts on Khalyla. You don't have to go too far into it.
Oh yeah, I mean, am I honest?
Even though she's our boss, but go ahead.
She's one of our Be careful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's our.
Do you want to say anything about her before?
She's
I
our
go?
Jules. I mean, she's a great person.
Talk
Love
about
her.
bad about my boss. Next.
Yeah,
Cool story, bro.
2 words, Mark. Blank check. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I gotta go bathroom.
I don't do Baja mode, dude.
Yeah, I do. I did a bit on what's that show called? Well, it was a podcast that's no longer, but it was like with Richie the Clown. There's a clip I know that has some views on the internet of me mocking Khalyla and doing her Filipino accent. But I do believe she has psychopathic tendencies.
Okay.
As evidenced by her poetry.
Oh, yeah, I heard
Somebody
about that.
unearthed her poetry, and it's extremely dark. And if it's any sort of accurate representation of her thought process, it seems to be highly exploitative, manipulative, like fantasies of, wealth, power, celebrity, like sadistic behavior towards men. Like if you found someone's journal and you saw this shit, you'd be like, this person writes like a psychopath. You know what I mean?
I wonder. Yeah, I do.
So that's my evidence for that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then also in person, she seems to be performatively, emotionally intelligent, right? She does the whole like, when we considered being mindful of the things that we talk, so
Right. Great
she's
boss, but yeah.
misdirecting you with a calm, deliberate. She's articulate and smart enough to misdirect away from the fact that she's calculated, vindictive, sadistic. Right? If you look at enough clips of Tiger Belly, you'll see evidence of her being. When the mask slips, she's sadistic. She has enough self-awareness to not do that all the time, and she often comes across as genuine. And I'm like, I believe that she is very close with Bobby, but like, I have to assume she is very calculated in her pursuit of Bobby, and she's highly incentivized to make the relationship seem as legitimate as possible and her love legitimate, even though I would assign very ulterior, like calculated motives for her to pursue Bobby and become well-known and famous. Although I'm not saying she didn't do anything for Bobby. I'm not saying she doesn't have talents as kind of like a manager for him, almost,
Right.
like to like set him up and kind of like, in a sense, exploit him, but benefits him, but also benefits her way more,
Yeah.
Mutually beneficial.
Her writing poetry.
So Mark Harley exposing the relationship between Brendan Schaub and Snoz. He can't say everything now. He's holding back info, but then later says she's a drug-addicted whore. So something tells me there's beef there between Mark and Snoz, and if like Schaub made Snoz like his work wife, oh, I bet you she was a terror behind the scenes at Sick Boy Studios. But it's interesting. She didn't make the trip down. When Schaub moved to Texas, she quit and just stayed in LA. Which is kind of crazy, which means he specifically hired her for The Fighter and the Kid. If you ever noticed on that god-awful After Hours podcast, Chin is the only one in Austin. And sometimes that guy Casey comes down, but he goes back to LA. Everyone else there is just working for King and the Sting. And they still have, I think, little side jobs with Theo. So she was a 100% Brendan Schaub employee and did not make the trip down. And I even made a video about it. He was like kind of pissed she wouldn't go to Texas. She was probably like, look, I'm not doing all that. I'm not moving to Texas to just be your side piece, Papa. Oh, how much do you think Joanna hated that bitch? That was probably one of the only selling points why she went to Texas. Because his wife hates it in Texas. But one of the selling points probably was, get him away from her. So that was probably one of the reasons why she actually did agree to go. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.